Oh, hi, Marianne.
Hi.
Welcome to my therapist's office in your house this afternoon. Um, so you have some problems or some issues coming up with your new career change and ideals. What
I
is it that
signed
you're
on to this big program that this behavior analyst will
doing?
do, giving ABA to kids and stuff like that. And I was kind of really thinking more along the lines of getting into a field kind of outside of autism, but with behavior, because I think because my own child has had issues in the school system and developmental milestones and stuff like that, it will be just like opening up uh, old wounds if I go into autism therapies.
Okay, and by wounds, what are some of the things that you're worried about in that aspect? Like,
Well, it was such a hard battle to get through and to get her to the point that she's 16 years old now. So
mhm,
we've done the majority of the um, elementary school failing to meet her needs and fighting in IEP meetings and all that kind of stuff. And I think it almost feels, if I go into the field, anything to do with any kind of behaviorism with autism in the younger ages, it will be like repeating the same traumatic situations over and
mhm,
over again. But I feel guilty because I have the skills to help those people that are going through it now deal with it
yeah,
more easily because I've done it before. But I didn't enjoy going through it the first time. Will it be as emotional or as difficult to go through it the second time,
yeah,
or third, or fourth, or dot dot dot?
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, so it seems really difficult for you because you have this inner turmoil of you've been through it, so you could really help them because you know what's going through, but the personal stress and wounds and emotions that come up for you would be very difficult through that. Um, you know, where are you kind of residing on that at this point?
I know I'm a much stronger person than when I started my journey, and I'm a lot stronger than the parents that are going through it now.
Hmm.
And I have the luxury of knowing outside of just the things we're learning in our classes and through our books. I have the luxury of knowing the things that I've seen with all the other kids we've met along the way, and with my own child, the things that are actually able to be applied in a real world setting.
Hmm.
Um, and some things that sounded so great and just don't work at all. Like I have a whole repertoire of those that I can save the parents from having to go through those steps,
Hmm.
even though you do want to, try whatever things because every individual plan is unique to the child. But I know a lot of different ways of, um, I guess, in other words, I've walked the walk already.
Hmm.
I know where they're going to fall. I have to let them fall a little bit, but I don't have to let them fall as hard as I did.
Yeah.
And I have the resources, and I know the resources to deal with everything that they're dealing with. But do I want to replay what wasn't? I mean, it's not going to be like watching great home movies over again. It'll be like watching a horror flick because it was down and dirty, difficult
Yeah.
um, to get through the first time.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like an immense struggle that you have, having all the knowledge, and experience, like you said, to help not only the kids, which would be your clients, but the parents, and then reliving that yourself. Like, are there particular, like, I'm not sure what to say here, like, particular emotions or scenarios that you think you wouldn't be able to overcome in light of helping them?
I'm worried about having a professional response to their children receiving the level of bullying that my daughter went through some long term um, bullying that had physical consequences to it. maybe an overreaction in thinking that the kids aren't able to say the type of bullying that they're going through,
Mhm.
because there was a little an experience of some individuals grooming her for a possible sexual assault. And I was lucky enough that we found out the day that it was going to happen that she didn't want to go to school because she didn't know the right way to do what they were saying for her to do. And
Mhm.
then she asked me how to, and I was like, "Oh, you don't do those kinds of
Yeah.
things." And if it wasn't for that, um, she would have thought that that was a normal passage through middle school because that's what they told her, that
Wow.
all girls have to do that.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I don't know if I would be looking for that pattern, or is
Mhm.
that a positive thing that I know those things can happen so that I can prevent them, or will, because I haven't had that much time since it occurred to kind of cycle through it for myself because I've been in an action role in caretaking.
Mhm.
So is it possible that I would be, kind of like the first time you see a zebra, then you see zebras everywhere,
Mhm.
kind of a scenario.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's better armed to handle the possibilities and probabilities, or um, or not.
Yeah. You're worried that you're gonna have a keen eye out for these situations, but are you gonna oversee them and try to overprotect these vulnerable children? Um, and that is like a really tough line, especially in this field when
Hmm.
it's hard for them to kind of communicate, which you were saying with your daughter.
It's kind of like a lady was telling me that's a social worker, that the first time she saw a severely abused child that was being abused by a family member, then she started questioning every other child after that that she came in contact with.
Hmm.
Is so and so person doing this? Because she had felt like she missed it. Whereas I don't feel like I missed it because there wasn't any clues that I missed for our circumstance
Uh-huh.
until that day. So in retrospect, there was really nothing. But you always kind of wish that you had known something sooner.
Hmm.
So, am I going to jump on that white horse and ride to champion everyone? Or, I just haven't figured out if it's a positive or negative to have the experience
Hmm.
that I have, and whether or not I want to do it again.
Yeah. And that makes complete sense given
Hmm.
what you've been through.
Right.
Um, and when do you think, like, what kind of process do you think you'll be going through now that you said you've been in this caretaking mode and then all that with, the experiences of the others that you've been talking to in similar circumstances? You know, how do you
Mm.
think you're going to go through and decide on how you feel about this pushing forward?
I think that as I'm going through the program, because I'm not halfway through, I'm less than halfway through, I'm
Hmm.
looking for where I'll be a better fit. Uh, I'm leaning more, believe it or not, on the technology side,
Okay.
so that it's having all the experience and being able to figure out and create tools for other people to use, even though I can't even use my own computer.
Hmm.
But, if I have the ideas, I'll hire the people to do the work,
Yeah.
much younger and brighter than I. But at least I have the idea. We're trying out like little software things now, behavior buddies and things like that online on the iPad for my daughter to see if kind of these things are helpful or not. So I'm playing around with different things to be outside of the daily behavior.
Okay.
But I haven't quite. I mean, at first I was ready to go into animal behavior, and then I was like, well, I'm not a young chicken, so I don't know. Frolicking around with beasts is not going to work out very well.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's another thing too. With the experience comes age. With age comes the inability to withstand being bitten or being bending down and changing diapers for 10 hours a day. And, I just don't know where I'm going to put that experience. So I'm still in
Yeah.
the finding out mode. But the real question is going to boil down to, do I want it to be at all surrounding um, autism or not? Autism's been our lives for, believe it or not, only 6 or 7 years now, but it ages you fast.
Yeah. A very long 6 or 7 years with all that you've been through. And it almost sounds like you're already like shielding and protecting yourself a little by looking into the technology side and
Mm-hmm.
almost preparing just to kind of keep that experience but apply it in those different ways.
Yeah, my job is almost near done. Not that it'll ever be completely done, but it
Mm-hmm.
is probably more than by half as difficult as what it used to be. And I'm looking to bring in other children to worry about
Mm-hmm.
because my worry is probably the same level as their parents, and not just one, many.
Mm-hmm. And when you're saying difficult, in what ways do you foresee it as difficult outside of?
I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they remember to turn his socks inside out. Does he have the food he likes?
Yeah.
All those little things, like the same urgency level that a new parent has, that's what an autism parent always has.
Wow. And then,
So that attention to detail and lack of sleep is always what's happening.
mm, and then bringing them on as your own clients, they're going to be like your other children.
Right.
So you're worried about that creeping in when you're kind of almost, say, done or getting close to
Free.
freedom, and then pulling all of that back in. That does sound like a large emotional and stressful toll.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
by the time I'm finished, I'll be like 52, 53 years old before I'm even entering the field. So, not that I'm not already in the field, but not at the level of professional capacity that this
yeah.
training is going to give me. So, oh yeah, I've been on the fence about this for quite some time, but I know finishing the degree is not a question because I really want to know all the things I should have been doing and I didn't know how to do.
Uh huh.
So uh, the road I didn't even know I was going to take, I didn't know it was going to be as hard. Now I want to go back and see kind of how I did
Yeah.
according to, you know, what the professionals say. Which sometimes I sit in class and I go, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Well,
That's not real.
mm,
Come on.
yeah, having your own
Looks good in the
child
book.
and stuff. Yeah. Which that's hard because you have the practical knowledge and now you're getting like the textbook, what the teachers are saying is correct
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. And I mean, so maybe the technology or another advocacy role like that sounds good for you, where you can combine those things and
I'd rather
not the
maybe
stress.
be, I was thinking, I don't know if I have it in me for that final push to be in a supervisory role so that everyone else can get bit and get kicked and have the tantrums and stuff like that. And I can, you know, the, maybe the ones that have more energy to
Uh-huh.
do that kind of stuff. But I would have to put my dues in before I get there, unless I start my own business, which I can do, and that's a possibility too. So I don't know.
But I mean, it sounds like you've put in a lot of your dues and you're not going to be starting fresh, you know, like jumping in some of the other people in our cohort. Like, you've been hands on in the field with your daughter and many others. So, I mean, you know what's going on. I don't think it'd be
I
a
know
problem
that
to.
I've been in the field doing things that I want to do because nobody else knew what to do. So they were like, let Miss Marianne handle it. It doesn't necessarily mean it was the right way to do it or how to do it, only that my heart was in the right place and we always ended up where we needed to be.
Hmm.
So whether or not the steps we took were professionally correct,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But
Lots of kids can tie
Yeah, but I mean, you're learning small things to tweak it and
Mm-hmm.
letting like your heart and what you know is right to do. And if you always end up where the kids are supposed to be and where you're supposed to be, then it sounds like you're definitely on the right track. It's just finding out that final segment of where you want to be helping.
Yeah, I need to start taking some vitamins so I can really look at the work more realistic because I'm tired. I'm just tired. Yeah. I don't know. Well, thank you.
Yes, well, it was nice talking with you today.
Thank you.